life, love, relationships.
Wait, we're gonna give away all our secrets?
Welcome to the Man Perspective
With K-Man
and the Dawn. All right. Welcome to the Man Perspective. And today's topic is, can you have sex with your significant other every day and be satisfied?
Yes and no. And I'll explain. Yes, if it's spicy and we're always bringing something new into it and experimenting and you keep it fresh, you know what I mean? If it's the same old routine, yeah, I mean I'll do it every day, but it's not going to wow me every day, if that makes sense. Do you feel like life is boring? Perhaps your love life is at a loss? Maybe even your relationships are just a little bit sour. Well, we got the advice for you. Tune in to the Man Perspective weekly for all the hot topics, and we can get your life, love, and relationships back into the swing of things on the Man Perspective with K-Man
and the Don. It's interesting you say that because there was a couple, I forgot the name of the couple, but you guys can look it up, Google. But there was a couple that wrote a book, and they wrote a book about them being intimate and having sex every single day. Like they both agreed that they was going to have sex every single day, no matter what. And they did it for a year. Every day. That was the goal. Every day they was going to have sex no matter what.
No.
And during that whole year, at first, of course, the issue was a timing issue because their schedules were different. You know, this one had to go to work and this one had to come back home from work. And so their schedule was a little bit, but they found time to make sure that they had sex every single day.
No.
Then first it became a chore because they was like, we'll just do it just to say that we did it.
Yeah.
But not that they did it to really be satisfied about doing it. You follow what I mean? But over the time, they got closer and closer and more intimate.
Interesting.
And that's what they learned from it. Like in the first half, the first like 2 or 3 months, it was cumbersome because it was a time issue, scheduling, and it was hard for them to do it, you know. And then as time went on, they got used to each other's schedule, and then they, you know, setting times for each other when they was going to do it and all like that. And then it became like, hey, we got to do this every day. And this was great. And they became closer and more intimate because of it. And then by the time they got towards the end of the year, they realized that their relationship was closer now than it ever been before because they decided to have sex every single day.
Wow.
And they wrote a book about it.
Really?
Yeah. They wrote a book about it.
Interesting.
Sort of like a little diary that, you know, they was doing it, and before they was just doing it just to be doing it, and then they did it for the purpose, and then they realized that the intimacy started to grow more and more every day. And that was something that they grew. And then by the time they got towards the end of the year of them doing it, they found themselves to be a very close and intimate couple. And they wrote a book about it.
It's quite impressive.
So, you know, I'm sure a lot of people would love to have sex every day.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that, you know, I wouldn't mind. Hey, why not? I'm not going to say no. You know, you know, it could be challenging, but I think it could be really worth it. And it can increase your intimacy for your significant other over time. So it's definitely something to look at and think about. And it's a challenge, but that challenge might be worth it in the long run.
Yeah, that's true. Oui, welcome to France, where we are known for our wine and for the Man Perspective. They're not French, but we listen to them exclusively.
Tune in to the Man Perspective with K-Man
and the Don.
Because they always say that, you know, as you get, you know, married or what have you, or as you grow as a couple, you always hear that you have less and less sex with that person. You know what I mean? And then, of course, you start looking at the fact that you start cheating and, you know, you start looking outside the relationship because you're not getting it in the relationship. So you start looking outside and then you kind of go your separate ways.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's true.
But if you force yourself to kind of do it every single day, over time, you'll start to grow and love that person more and more intimate each and every day and be satisfied.
That makes sense though, because a lot of times in life, adulting, just being an adult and doing adult stuff like work and any other obligations, or, to generalize it, the schedule, right? Everybody has their own, and that tends to really prevent couples from spending quality time together. So when you force it, I don't like to use the word force, but yeah, it forces the relationship to be put first, or at least as a priority. I could definitely see it being a chore in the beginning, because of you're still battling a schedule, but I can see it over time, because the relationship was made a priority or put first, that it should at least make it stronger. So that's pretty.
Yeah, it creates a stronger bond.
Absolutely.
A stronger bond, a stronger intimacy, a stronger love. And because you're so used to doing it with each other that you're not really interested in going outside, because that person knows what pleasures you, you know what pleasures them. So chances are for you to go outside the relationship, it can make it difficult because, and this is the good thing, guys, if you stick with your woman and your woman decides to do this to you every day, she knows how to pleasure you. You know how to pleasure her.
Yeah.
You feel what I mean? So it's going to be difficult for you to try to find somebody to replace that. Because
Yeah, that's true.
how you like it, right? You know how you like it. She knows how she like it. Now go out and try to find some girl to do something like that for you. It's going to be slim to none, because you're like, oh man, you don't do it like my girl. And no girl wants to hear that. What do you mean y'all don't do it like your girl? Well, my girl does this and she do this with her tongue and this, you know what I mean? She do this rotation and this and that. And, you're like, what? And so you're satisfied. But now to try to get that same feeling that your girl does, or you know what I mean? It's going to be difficult because you're not used to that.
That's true.
Then you got to kind of groom them to try to get them to do something that they're not comfortable really doing. And thus you're not going to be satisfied.
It's official. The Man Perspective is now on Apple Music, Android Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and a bunch of other platforms. We are now international and coming to you weekly. Even check us out on our YouTube channel. You don't want to miss this. Things are about to get real crazy. On The Man Perspective with K-Man
and the Don.
Well, even right off the bat, you have to hope that you two are compatible, from that affectionate or romantic standpoint. Otherwise, it's going to have a time limit on it right off the bat.
Yeah, but you could grow to love somebody. As time goes along, and like I said, when they first started as a couple, it was a chore. Yeah. By the time it got to the end of the year, it became, hey, we're a real strong couple. They didn't cheat. They was always there for, and they was all intimate. And I believe they still doing that to this day.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and they still married to this day and all like that. So, little things like that, it may sound unorthodox and extreme. I got to have sex every day. But if you think about it, like you said, over time, it's going to benefit you.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's definitely something to think about. It's definitely, it worked in their relationship. There's no reason why it can't work in yours, but that's something you'd have to try, with your significant other and see if that actually works. Because if it works, then that's something you may have to do. And it may cut down on a guy cheating. Yeah. It may cut down on a lot of things.
It's possible, yeah.
Looking at other women and things like that, because you're not going to see that person doing what your significant other can do for you.
Yeah.
So you got to really take heed on that. But hey, get at us at themanperspective@gmail.com and let us know if having sex with your significant other every day will be fulfilling and make your relationship a strong bond on The Man Perspective. Now you heard our perspective. It's time to hear yours. Get at us at themanperspective@gmail.com.
Or use the hashtag #TheManPerspective.